Hello, this is Ron Duggar. Without Bob Adams or Tony Elder tonight, we do have a nice presentation that we're going to go over. It's intended to be a presentation that will be possibly used for yourself and you as you try to introduce this opportunity to friends and family and any kind of marketing that you might be doing. And so really how I've couched this is basically when we started learning how to talk, all of us as young children, we started asking why a lot. We would very curious as to things and how things worked and why we should do this and why we shouldn't do that. And so we're going to be a little bit like kids today, kind of looking at this opportunity and ask the questions, well, why? Why? And hopefully we can get some answers to those. But first of all, let's go ahead and do our lovely disclaimer. If I can advance this, the disclaimer, all information and discussions regarding cryptocurrencies, installment of operations, iHUB support, and educational materials are for educational and entertainment purposes only, are general in nature and not intended as investment, legal, or tax advice. Each person's personal investment risk level and financial situation is unique and different, and the information provided may not apply or work effectively for you. By signing up for and attending or participating in our informational internet or in-person workshops, seminars, and follow-up meetings, you agree that Bob Adams, Ron Duggar, Tony Elder, and all affiliated companies, representatives, associates, or employees, information providers, are hereby held harmless from all liability and loss associated with the information and discussion that's provided, and as to any actions or strategies you may choose to implement with regard to the same. Okay, so the first why that I wanted to discuss is dealing with this concept of the Internet of Things, because that's where it kind of all starts. And first of all, I want you to understand that we are in the midst of an explosion of internet that's not for the people as much as it is for devices that need to have access to the internet. And we're well into it. So the global IT industry revenue in 2017 was $110 billion. The forecast assumes that this value will increase to around $1.6 trillion US dollars by 2025. You see some of the revenues here in North America. The first stat was kind of a worldwide number, but 95.5 billion US in 2018. The number of actual devices and connections, 5.4 billion by 2025. And the largest category is the cellular connection with the automotive industry. But certainly the rest of the industries are well represented in the number of devices and how it's affecting our lives. I threw a couple more slides here that I'm not going to go over with great detail, but they're certainly there for rewatching the video and pausing and kind of digesting this information. But again, there are different ways right now that these devices can access the internet or communicate back to their parent companies and relay information. You'll see those connectivity types over on the right. The wireless, what I call local area networks, 5G, there's just different ones, cellular and so forth. And so they're already providing this connectivity right now. And so you have to ask ourselves, well, why build another one? And it really comes down to a different mindset and a change of philosophy of how to build it and how to make it free from kind of the monopoly that is being kind of had by those big telecom companies and so forth. But the number of Internet of Things, again, connected devices worldwide from 2019 to 2030 are represented in billions here on this chart. So it's, we're going to be doubling easily the number of devices in just a few years. And so it's just kind of exciting, but we're still kind of in the early stages. We're in the early stages of this disruptive technology with industry leaders and investment capital driving its adoption into all areas of human interaction. Unimaginable types and numbers of devices that aim to improve individuals and societies for generations. We call this the fourth industrial revelation, or Tony explains it that way, and many others explain it that way. So welcome to it. It's here amongst us right now. So that was kind of the why we should consider looking at IoT. It's a big and growing industry with a lot of opportunity there. So let's now change and ask the question, why helium? And HNT is the cryptocurrency name, so that's displayed there. So what is it? It's Helium is a decentralized blockchain network for IoT devices. The project was founded in 2013 by Amir Helium, Sean Fanning, and Sean Carey. The Helium team aims to build a wireless IoT network that will enable devices around the world to connect wirelessly to the internet without the need of power-hungry GPS hardware and expensive cellular plans. And that's where the opportunity kind of exists. Those networks are there. They are providing the service for the existing devices to access right now, but they are expensive, and there's a better way. And so the HNT token is at the heart of the Helium's decentralized blockchain network. This can be used for payments and in governance and votes within the network itself. This is a decentralized network, meaning that no one owns it outright, but we all collectively, those who are participating in various ways, collectively own the network and control it through governance of votes and so forth. And as a result, the Helium was created with a two-sided market for vendors and users who need internet for their IoT devices. The project wants to completely decentralize such a market that is currently controlled by monopolies, as we mentioned before. So as we continue, wireless internet connectivity is set to become a competitively fueled commodity. So meaning that there's going to be competition introduced here. This monopoly is going to be broken up, and Helium, the company, and what it's set out to do is going to be one of those technologies that is going to disrupt that existing monopoly. Available anywhere in the world at a fraction of the current cost, these devices will be able to connect. In this ambitious mission, Helium is supported by well-known venture capitalist firms, including those I've got it listed there. And they did around 3 different rounds of funding initially and raised over $160 million. The Helium network has been named the People's Network because of its open source, transparent, on-blockchain HNT governance and the Helium community-driven improvement projects known as HIPs. So let's go and give you a little bit of a story of the background on Helium, the company. Again, it was mentioned that it was founded in 2013 in Silicon Valley as a startup. And these original founders aren't new to startups and very successful ventures that have been sold for millions and millions of dollars. And so they had this idea, and mainly it came from because they had a lot of other friends of theirs down in Silicon Valley that were building these IoT devices, and they were always complaining on how expensive it was to get those devices deployed, the data plans and everything else. And so they started thinking, well, we can do better. We can figure out a different way to do this. And so they set out trying to figure this out, and they ran into all kinds of challenges. Everybody they were meeting with didn't believe that this project could really succeed, couldn't be done. They're going to go up against the big boys. It just can't be done. And they got to a point where they had about 1 year left of capital remaining, and they were going to have to close up shop and just give it up. Well, the team, they started discussing, how do we maybe use blockchain and cryptocurrency to solve this problem? And so they worked on that from that perspective, and there's some key decisions that they made that were very interesting and very bold. First of all, they just said, let's take all this technology that all of our investment capital came in, and all of the stuff that we've been building and working on that's proprietary, and let's just give it away. Let's make it open source. It's an open source technology now. And they created a native cryptocurrency and a blockchain built from the ground up. It's not being built on existing blockchains that are out there like Ethereum or any others. And so they also created this cryptocurrency and a protocol token called data credits. And then they had to convince the investors, these people that actually put up real dollars, and said to them and the founders, will you accept HNT, this made-up currency, instead of USD as their investment return? And that's, I don't believe, I would love to have been a fly on the wall as those discussions went down. But as they say, the rest is history. And so what the tokenomics are with this whole design, the Helium blockchain uses 3 distinct token economic concepts to ensure that HNT supply is both plentiful for the network's needs, but also relatively scarce, with a known maximum. So here's the 3. Maximum supply. There will not be any more than 223 million HNT ever minted or mined. And right now, in the beginning, the first 2 years, there were 60 million per year that was going to be mined and distributed. So that's 5 million per month. Now, as I mentioned, there was no, all these investors and stuff, they didn't get some free HNT up front or pre-mined. So they each are going to earn it from day one. So it's what they call a Genesis block, very much like Bitcoin had a Genesis block, the very first block. Well, this one happened to have been mined on July 29th, 2019. So you can see that this company started clear back in 2013, and they just, in 2019, finally solved a problem that was going to probably take down the company if they didn't get it solved, and that was how do you finance and pay to build this worldwide network. So again, no pre-mined HNT for either the founders or the investors. And there's a 2-year halving schedule for over 50 years. And so what that really means is 2 years into it, so in 2021, on August 1st, it went through its first halving, meaning that no longer was it 60 million HNT going to be mined during a year, or 5 million per month. It was going to drop to 30 million or 2.5 million per month of HNT for the next 2 years, and then on August 1st again, and 2 years from now is where it will take its next halving. So if you do that halving process, it will take 50 years before all of the 223 million HNT are ever minted or mined. So there's a long a lot of years here where Helium will be available for payments to the system. So the second credit that was, or second token that was important to be put into place was this data credits, or DC. And this is not available to be purchased anywhere except for internally in the system. And you only can buy it with HNT. So it forces anybody that wants to spend or pay money to have devices talk on the network, they have to own data credits and spend them. And so they first have to buy HNT. That creates demand for the HNT, and as we just mentioned before, there's a max supply and a reduced amount of supply that's going forward by the halving, plus it's being reduced even further when people actually need to spend or need to send data across the network, and they need to convert their HNT into data credits. This would be companies that own devices that need to use the network. And this is what they call the burn and mint economy. So users of the network must purchase the HNT on an open market and then convert it to HNT, or the HNT to DC. And the DC is a peg to the US dollar. So it's a stable coin. It won't fluctuate. And so they could turn their HNT into DC at any point in time, and it just is there in an account, and they can spend it as they need to. And upon conversion to the DC, HNT is burned, which reduces the current supply. And as you understand economics, the less supply you have, the value of what's remaining tends to go up and be more valuable. And the third thing is this net emissions. This gives a protocol enough burnt HNT to reward consensus groups and members, that's us, hotspot owners, investors, into perpetuity. So essentially what happens is they're able to recycle this net emissions, these coins that were burnt, and they can be resupplied into the system. So that's kind of the economics of what's going on, knowing that if you're going to get into it, and we're going to spend some of our time, energy, and maybe a little bit of our money to build an organization, I want to know that there's money to be paid to us for doing that effort, not just for this year or this month, but for many years. By thinking outside the box, the Helium team had solved their funding challenges of building the People's Network. So let's do some math. Currently mining 2.5 million HNT per month with the HNT rewards earned by the consensus group. Those are the investors, the validators, and founders, and so forth. And then you've got the hotspot owners. Those are the people like us. The current market price is right around $24.80 when I put this slide together last night. This month's HNT rewards would then approximately be valued about $62 million in US dollars if you were to, if everybody would to earn it and to turn it into dollars. That's what it would be. So you can see that they really now have a lot of money, or a flow of value, that can be distributed out to help incentivize people like us and others to build out this network. So it's just ingenious what they did and how they funded this thing at this point in time, using this wonderful decentralized technology and cryptocurrencies. The Helium blockchain rewards hotspots for providing wireless coverage and verifying the Helium network. Hotspots are rewarded in the Helium token, HNT. Approximately every 60 seconds, a hotspot may be included in what we call an epoch. And that's the proof of coverage algorithm that happens. It's a transmission that hotspots may be being part of. They're either going to be a challenger, a challengee, or a witness. And that digital communication is what verifies that the network is up and running and ready to pass data for our paying customers. And we get compensated before we have a lot of paying customers right from the pool of HNT that was provided by Helium, the company, when they launched the blockchain. And so we get that participation, our little slice of that, regularly. It's not like we wait for weeks and then all of a sudden we get a little bit. I mean, I look at my amount that I'm getting. It's real small, it's fractional, but every 3 or 4 hours I'm getting a little bit of money from my hotspot. The hotspots are rewarded in HNT, and then when data traffic is delivered, we also get HNT as well. So you'll start seeing in your back office and in your analysis of your own hotspots, a separation of how much you are making as a challenger, a challengee, and a witness, and also passing data. Once a hotspot is completely deployed and fully synced with the Helium blockchain, you as the host are not required to do anything else in order to earn HNT. Your hotspot will perform all of these above functions and activities unattended. So that's really quite nice. That's what you call passive income. You let technology take over. So this distribution of the HNT, it's going to change over time, and it aligns the incentives with the needs of the network, meaning in the early days, a higher portion of HNT is allocated to hotspot owners, us, for building and securing the coverage. As the network grows, hotspots earn more for transferring device data. These are clients, paying clients, and their data passing through our hotspot on the network, while Helium, Inc. and the investors start earning less and less. And after 20 years, the distribution kind of fix in, and so, you'll see that the design is that we're getting paid a lot more for proof of coverage in the early days, and it will taper off as the growth of the paying customers using their data credits are starting to pass through the data or the hotspots that we might control or get a part of. So let's answer the question of why Helium then. Number one, I think, is the fact that no one else is doing this. There's really no other choice if you want to get involved in owning a decentralized network passing IoT devices. I don't know of any other that's being built, and so this is kind of your one and only shot from a getting involved standpoint. Also, that the use case that solves the IoT industry needs of greater coverage and lower cost, they're answering that. We are part of that answer. Fully decentralized, cannot be controlled by a single entity. Even the owners and founders and the original investors, they can't sell this thing. They can't chop it up. We're doing about it. It's being built. It's decentralized, and it gives me a lot of comfort that we're part of something that can't be really controlled. It's a little bit like the internet. You can't shut it all down at once. And the People's Network is an on-blockchain and very transparent and open source. And so there's a lot of people that are now combining their efforts and energies to make sure this thing gets built. It's well-funded initially and also well-managed, but also because it's on blockchain, you can see that as the value of the cryptocurrency continues to increase, that just is more value that they can spend in the system to compensate us. The project has been validated, in my opinion, with over 500,000 active hotspots worldwide in just a few short years. That is the fastest deployment of any wireless network ever, and they're just barely getting started. New IoT devices, manufacturers, and users joining regularly. That's not a problem that we have to have. It's kind of the concept of once we build it, they will come, because it answers their challenges, which is they need lower cost and more coverage for their devices to communicate. And again, they've thought well out in the future, 50 years of perpetuity reward compensation has been designed into this. Okay, so now let's shift and let's talk about what iHUB Global is. iHUB Global is a separate company from Helium. iHUB Global is a marketing company that aggressively deploys Helium-approved hotspots using affiliate marketing concepts, software tools, and shared HMT compensation. So iHUB Global supports Helium Hotspots hosts, that would be us, in deploying and sharing in HMT rewards from their own hotspot location as well as from those affiliates they have introduced to join iHUB via their affiliate links. Anyone can join and grow an affiliate network for free, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Upon joining, you will be given your own affiliate marketing landing page and your business back office, and I'll be showing you some screenshots of that in just a moment. The iHUB Global provides unparalleled solutions and support to promote the success of their affiliates and the Helium Hotspot hosts. These include Helium Track. This is a software that analyzes the viability and potential of HMT's earnings of a proposed hotspot location. It also deploys those locations once those boxes are delivered to the host. You can reserve and deploy and plan the hotspots in advance of where you would like to get those placed. And it also helps you manage your own affiliate organization, and your affiliate compensation is all built inside that solution. They just added another full-time programmer. They're up to 6 programmers that are working on that tool, and it's I've looked at a lot of other third-party tools being built to help people wanting to get involved in the Helium project, and this one was by far the most powerful tool out there. Your own replicated affiliate website with join links to help you share the Helium hotspot offer and affiliate opportunities. We'll show you a screenshot of that real quickly and talk about it. There's all kinds of training videos and live recordings, webinars, and affiliate events at locations around the world or via Zoom that iHUB is already doing. They're still a very young company, just over a year old, and they've done remarkable things. iHUB Global, they saw the vision of what Helium was building, and they decided, you know, we have maybe a different approach, and we can probably blow this thing up and grow and become the dominant company or marketing company deploying hotspots around the world. Currently, iHUB Global has over 600,000 affiliates worldwide. iHUB Global is launching the iHUB Marketplace, and this is another way we'll be able to earn some money, those who build an affiliate organization. It increases the possibility of income to their affiliates outside the Helium hotspot and the HNT earnings that you might have. And that's being launched here shortly in February. They also partnered with a cryptocurrency exchange called coinzoom.com. That's where you can access your cryptocurrencies for purchasing, trading, staking, spending, or wallet hodling. Obviously, there's a lot of other places that can do that, but this, they picked a partner so that it can be seamless for those affiliates. They also are conscious with giving back, and so they're a proud supporter of the Viva Kids, a nonprofit serving underprivileged children of the Dominican Republic and around the world. So that's a little bit about them. Some of the founders of the iHUB Global are from the network marketing industry, and they approach the Helium mission of building the world's largest peer-to-peer wireless IoT network differently than Helium itself had been promoting and deploying it. It is clear in my mind, with only 1 year of effort of marketing under their belt, they're going to dominate. They already have. The only thing that's been holding us back so far, or iHUB, is the supply chain problem of just getting the boxes, and that's starting to break through, availability is starting to happen for us right away now, and so those things will be solved shortly. iHUB Global is, or will be, the largest operator of hotspot locations worldwide. I'm quite sure of it. Using the affiliate marketing system with shared HNT rewards with affiliates that join using an affiliate link is a simple and powerful way to earn a passive income. Let's look at some screenshots of the, well, first of all, before we move on to that, I just wanted to, a lot of people get turned off, and I'm not one that likes to go and join a bunch of network marketing companies, and it's because I'm a little hesitant to share opportunities like that with people that I know and asking them to spend money on something they may or may not need themselves, a product. Sometimes those products seem to be overpriced just to build in the compensation. And, they want to be putting everybody onto an auto ship. And so the revenue or the rewards that I would be getting in a typical MLM or a network marketing company are coming from my friends and family spending their hard-earned money on a product that they may or may not need. And so it just turns me off a little bit to do that. I want you to understand why this becomes a completely different thing. And it literally comes down to the idea that the source of money that was going to compensate me by sharing this with someone else is not coming from that person. In other words, their application fee to get involved, if they wanted to own their own hotspot, I don't get a commission off of that money spent. The money and the compensation for each of us in the affiliate program is coming from the blockchain. Those 223 million over 50 years, that's and the paying customers spending their data credits, that's what's paying our commissions, not from anybody's pocketbook that we know that might could use that money differently. So it's really the source of where the money and the compensation is coming from that kind of puts me at ease on sharing this opportunity to others. This is the kind of a landing page that all of us would receive as you join. And this is free. Again, this is going to be anybody that you shared this link to. It has this join iHUB Global right here. If they click on that or click on one down here, this page does scroll down further, and it's got videos and explanations on how the system works, and probably does even a better job than what I'm doing here tonight. And so it's a great tool to just share. It's easy to share, and then have a conversation with those that you share with them and help them understand the best they can. But certainly they can have one of those sites themselves for free. Once you click on one of those join buttons, there's a choice to go either as just a host and a customer or a host and an affiliate. Both of these are free. There's a little bit of information that they would be agreeing to. And then once that happens, they would have access to a login screen that gets them into this type of a beautiful dashboard where they can operate their business. You've got important information and news. This is where you can access all of your network. It's your people that are affiliates are in your downline. The Helium track software. The deployment board as people are trying to get their hotspots activated. You got a support center and live webinars, and then this iHUB marketplace is coming soon. This is the live webinars. They record them. They're regular. You can attend these. You can watch them at your leisure, and just stay informed of what's happening in the company. I went past one, so here's your training videos. So they put these out and help us really understand how to use their tools, how to maybe market, how to understand the compensation program, and so forth. So, all of this is free and available upon joining. You can plan your hotspots. This, again, is also largely free. There is a paid plan, either $9.99 or $39 a month for unlimited. But in a moment, I'll just tell you how you can even avoid having to pay those and still get the effort of marketing using Bob Adams and StartYourCrypto.com. So just some of those screenshots. I've grabbed this screenshot off the video that goes over the compensation program, and I won't go over it a whole lot, but you basically it's a single level affiliate program. Your first 5 individuals that may join your organization, those are called your pro team. The next 10 is your bronze team. The next 10 after that is your silver, and then from your 26th on, those are all your gold team. And you just have a different compensation percentages and so forth related to each of these levels. And again, going over that training video, you'll have a better understanding of the compensation program. So let's get answers to why iHUB Global. The affiliate marketing strategy allows you as individuals, rather than just have your single location, you can participate in a whole bunch of locations depending on how many people join through your links or the links of those that you might have shared it with. And so you'll certainly earn a lot more or have a lot more coverage of potential earnings of a lot more hotspots by using an affiliate marketing concept. And again, you're getting paid from that pool of money that's on the blockchain and not from your people you're introducing to this concept and this opportunity. The software that they've put together and continue to develop is very functional and very helpful, and it's the best I've ever seen out there in the marketplace of people building things like it or to service the Helium network. From a marketing standpoint, and they're still working on adding a lot of features, managing and operating your Helium hotspots in your business. The live and recorded training and webinar events, those become invaluable. They're something you can do at your own leisure. I suspect many of us, this is kind of a side hustle and something that we don't want to have take so much for our time. And so, doing this when you have a moment to catch up on what's happening, it's free to join and to build your affiliate business. What do I mean by that? If you joined and did through those links and started your access to your back office, there's no cost there. You can actually build an affiliate organization by spreading the word and never actually buy or host a hotspot yourself. And in some cases, when you run the analysis on your own location, you just might not even qualify to have one at your location. And so obviously that's why this is designed this way, so that even those that can't qualify for one at their own location, you could certainly still share this opportunity and get some revenue or some passive income paid to you in HNT off boxes that are not housed at your own location. Should you want to go ahead and get a box at your location, $99 cost, and then either a lease or a deposit option is available to you to host your own hotspot. These hotspots are owned by iHUB Global, and we're just hosting them at our location, and then we participate in the compensation from what's earned off our own hotspot. The extra income opportunity from iHUB Marketplace, this is going to launch in February. These will be additional products that you may not even have to put any effort into marketing per se, but because somebody down the line or affiliate network that you started may choose to buy some of these products, they're going to be things like curriculum for homeschooling or telemedicine and different things that are being put out, smart home products and services. And if people choose to buy those things, you may be ending up getting some, not HNT in this case, you'll be paid in a compensation in dollars. Okay, so now let's shift over. I think iHUB and Helium and the whole overall industry, I think I've answered in my mind the questions as to why I should really consider this seriously. But now why Tony, Bob, and Ron as a team? We're here to help. We know how to use the iHUB Global tools and combined with the iHUB.com or Helium.com to grow large affiliate organizations. We understand clearly what the fourth industrial revolution is and how to capitalize from it. We will assist you with building the structure, business structure, and tax strategies for you to consider, and we'll hold regular webinars, even individual calls to help you succeed. We're all in after doing our due diligence into IoT, Helium, and the iHUB Global. We're going to be focusing a significant amount of our efforts to building this out and hopefully be one of the largest groups inside the iHUB organization, and they in turn would be the largest in the Helium network. So one of the tools that we have for you is the StartYourCrypto.com, and you'll see a lot of content that we're presenting, I guess, from other sources into one location. Certainly you can bring those people you're introducing to this location, and one of the things that's available here is a free iHUB assessment opportunity. So instead of having to spend some money on the monthly subscription for the Helium track and so forth, we will allow you to fill out a form and send in addresses that you want Bob to run those analysis for you and get back with what the results were. And again, we want you to not have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money, and we want you to still be successful and grow your business. So why not? This is the last why. We understand and respect anyone that decides to not see and act on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of owning a piece of the people's network. But ask yourself, what do you have to lose? It's free to join. You never are forced to buy anything to build a passive income stream. Only if you want to host your own hotspot would you incur a small cost with a worst-case break-even in a few months. If you have questions, reservations, just ask us. No pressure, just honest answers. Get with the person that may have shared or invited you to view this presentation, and they will have a link for you to join so that you'll be in their organization and they can be helpful for you in building your affiliate program or organization. And we're excited to build a passive income stream together with you, with us. Welcome to the People's Network. And with that, that's all the information I have. And we certainly do have a little bit of time for some questions and answers. And hopefully this information was very helpful. And so I'm going to go ahead and anybody that has questions, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and we'll try to tackle them. All right, so I'm going to ask a question, maybe some of you might even like to chime in. First of all, those that are on the call right now, do we have any of you that have already joined iHUB and also have ordered their hotspot, and have you received your antenna voucher yet? All right, so I'll ask another question. Is there anyone who has joined and also shared this and had some success in having anybody else sign up under their affiliate link? It's kind of a shy group. Was any of this information tonight, was it helpful? Did you learn anything about either Helium or iHUB with what the slides I put together that you didn't know before? All right, so let's open up if there's any questions unrelated necessarily to what we've covered that was on your mind and you were hoping to maybe get answered tonight on the call.
Ron, this is Jig, and I hate to keep asking this question, but what's your thoughts on Bitcoin? I mean, is it falling, or what do you think?
No, don't worry about asking that question, because obviously it's those that have got money in it, you're always very concerned about what's happening with the market. Let me give you my take on it right now. Obviously, what may have prompted many that saw the 4-year chart that I built and what the fourth quarter should have looked like if that would have played out exactly as it had in the previous cycles, it's deviated, obviously, the timetable. In fact, let me just go ahead and just quickly pull that over. It should tell me my screen's coming up. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the same chart that I've built, and I wanted to just maybe zoom in into this last fourth quarter here, and you can obviously see where it should have been by, December 28, that line right there. We should have been clear up over $250,000. If you can see where my cursor is. And we have extended now almost 2 months beyond that, and it's been in a downward channel ever since. So the question is, where are we really in that cycle, and what caused it perhaps to drop like this? One thing that's interesting this cycle that I think is different from the prior cycles is the cryptocurrency marketplace has matured somewhat. The type of investor is now more of an institutional investor, and so it's starting to track a little bit closer to the S&P 500 and stocks, where they used to be not as correlated as they appear to be in this cycle. And so that's the one thing. What we've seen is the decline in stocks has continued to pull the crypto market down. So the question is, where is the support, and where could it find support and bounce back off of this? Well, if you I'm going to even zoom in a little further here, and let's take a look at this. These are daily bars here, okay? And so we've been in this channel. We hit this bottom here and have rebounded. So these are moving averages. We're sitting right now at a moving average, and it's a green bar. It's a little undecided, but there is some momentum. I think we are at somewhat of a bottom now. Is it going to skyrocket and bounce out of this other top channel? That's the question. But I think we could, in the next few days, go from this 37,000 on Bitcoin and probably climb up into the probably back up into this range here, 42. And so that's in the short time. I think we could have something go like that. We're going to have to get some good momentum and some good volume to bounce out of this channel and really start getting up into reaching the all-time highs, which are about 68,000. So we're going to be chopping around down here potentially for a little while, but I don't see it dropping. Probably the lowest I can see, it could see this bottom line down here based on the Fibonacci's, you really could see it clear down to 29,000. That's not out of the realm of possibility. You see this here is a software program I use where see that number 2. That is calculating the Elliott wave. And so about here is when it's telling me that the Elliott wave has completed wave 2. Wave 3 is a long wave, and I don't know how long it will take for it to mature, but that's where we're headed, is upward from here generally. But could it come down? It's possible. But I'm still very bullish on cryptocurrencies. One of the other things I look at is the wallet transfer. So you have the sellers are pretty much sold out right now. People are not moving from their hard wallets over into exchanges so that they can sell right now. That means they're hodling inside their hard wallets right now. So that's why you're seeing over the last few days, it's not a sharp incline, but it's stabilizing, trading sideways right now, and it's within the moving average channel. So that's kind of the closer look at it right at this point in time.
Yeah.
When we'll see a breakthrough and all-time highs, as I think I may have mentioned once before, I'm now looking at this, it'll be almost like one full quarter out of sync from the 4-year cycle. So between now and towards the end of March is when I'm hoping that we will have broken out of this downward channel and we'll start much more aggressive climbing.
So end of March, I mean, I know there's no way of knowing, but it possibly could get back up to the all-time high of 68.
68, yeah, that's where I'm. And once you hit that, then that's when it gets exciting because a lot of the FOMO buying starts coming in, and that's what just accelerates. And there's so much more money once that happens available to come in the marketplace because the institutional investors will start pushing that up. And it's just unfortunate that we've had to go through a very painful drop.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about, we really want to focus, make sure people are into the crypto business using mining and passive income, and the best way to do it is through this affiliate marketing. But our intentions is to bring to the table some, using likely some bots and some strategies that might be safer than just buying and holding through these long kind of drops like this that might allow us to stay in the market, trading and pulling, scalping, little profits out of the market every day.
Do you feel like Helium will ride this when it starts to happen?
Yeah, so essentially there's, as I've mentioned before, you look at the crypto market and there's 2 different things to consider. There is Bitcoin and then there's altcoins. And of course, everything that's not Bitcoin is an altcoin. And then within the altcoins, you have what I consider to be platforms. In other words, they're blockchains that other coins are attached to or build their whole existence on that blockchain. So Ethereum, for instance, is the next largest coin, but it's also a platform. There's a number of other coins that build their whole companies and their coins on the Ethereum blockchain. And so there's a few others, Solana, and that are also like that. And so there's different ways to look at it. When you look at Helium, Helium is really quite unique because it's its own blockchain. They built it from the scratch up. The reason why they had to do that is they're doing proof of coverage, which has not been heard of, and they're validating a physical network. There's not a blockchain out there that was designed to do that, and so they had to build their own blockchain, and so it's independent. I think it's going to act a lot more like Bitcoin as you move forward, for the same reasons I talked about here in the tokenomics of it. There's a fixed supply, and there's 2-year halvings versus 4-year halvings with the Bitcoin, but all the mechanics are intended for the value of that coin to always get more and more value over time. Even though the market's going to push it up and down with trading, the general trajectory will be it'll always, within cycles, break new all-time highs and continue to grow in nature. So it's really an oddball in when you consider cryptocurrencies out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Ron. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. And thanks for the question. Is there anybody else that has thought of something now? If not, then we'll close up the call. But I do want to encourage people. Yes, go ahead.
All right. Can you just go over the Helium opportunity and what will be the cost to get in?
Okay. Let me just pull my screen back out of the way here again. So Helium, again, is the parent company of they're kind of the controller of well, they introduced and put forward the project, and so you're really not so much joining Helium, other than you are buying an approved Helium box and registering it with the network. And so because it's open source, you can buy these Helium boxes from a number of different manufacturers. And if you go to helium.com, you'll be able to find different manufacturers that have approved boxes that you could buy. But the challenge has been trying to buy those boxes. Everybody's been out. It's very hard to get. The lead times were 8-10 weeks out before you could get a box. And that's been the same with iHUB. iHUB is a large purchaser of bulk of these boxes, but their lead times were also out a ways, but that is starting to get resolved across the board. So if you buy from a manufacturer an approved Helium hotspot outside of iHUB Global, then you're going to own the box and you get the full revenue off of that box. Okay, those boxes are going to range anywhere from $450 to maybe $700-800 for one of those boxes. So you'll pay up front. It's free to register that box onto the network, and then you would just start earning HMT every day on that box. Now, what's different about iHUB is iHUB, the company, is a marketing company. So what they're doing is they're buying in bulk these hotspots, and then we become hosts for them. So they lease them to us at $18 a month. You pay a one-time fee of $99. If you want a box, you don't have to pay that if you just want to market to other people. But if you actually want one of your boxes in your own home, then you'd pay a $99 one-time fee, and then you'd be either leasing it for $18 a month, or you do a $400 deposit that is refundable. Okay, and so now you've got a box that's shipped to you from iHUB. iHUB owns that box. You're hosting it. You're going to earn about 25% instead of 100% of the HMT or the Helium that's earned on your own box. But you'll be able to share the opportunity to other individuals through your affiliate link, and you're going to start earning some HMT off of those boxes inside your affiliate organization. You won't have to spend any more money to house those boxes or to pay for the one-time fee. That would be something that the other affiliate would choose to do, and that's how that thing's going to grow out. So you'll ultimately, if you do any kind of effort of sharing the link and promoting this, you'll earn more than 100% of one box in your own home. And this is like a little real estate grab. The way this network is working, we need hotspots to form a cluster of hotspots that cover wide ranges of coverage. Okay, so it's not like other type of mining where you can buy a rack and you get a whole bunch of mining equipment and you can have dozens and dozens of them in one location. This is a physical network that you're putting these hubs or these hotspots far enough away from one another, but not too far so that they're communicating with one another. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the cost, in answer to your question, free to join, and you can never have to pay anything. Or you can choose to activate some of the software tools and pay either $9.99 a month or $39 a month, whether you just want access to do what they call assessments, mining assessments. You can do 5 of those a day at $9.99 a month, and it's month to month, so you can cancel that anytime, or you can do $39 a month and have unlimited access, and you can cancel that at any time. And so those are tools, marketing tools, where you could send out an email after putting in an address of a friend of yours or maybe a family member, and you put in the address, and it will send them out an email and tell them an estimate of what the monthly earnings would be if they placed a hotspot at their location. So that's just a marketing tool. It's optional, and you don't need to do that. In fact, you can get around doing that if you just use Bob and the link at the startyourcrypto.com, and he'll run those analyses for you and get the information back. So in terms of cost, only if you want to have a box at your location, there would be a $99 cost up front and either $18 a month as a lease or a $400 one-time deposit that is refundable. I like the deposit option just because the lease continues well after the 36 months initial term. You'll end up spending a whole lot more money at $18 a month than if you were to just forego and put $400 up, and when you turn back in a functional box, you would get your $400 back at that point in time. So it's only a deposit that's refundable. And that's it. That's the cost you have. You have maybe a little bit of effort and time on your part to understand this. But once you hook up the box, you have it synced with the network at your own location, it just goes to work for you every day. The cost in terms of energy, these are very much like just like a router in your home or the internet that comes in your home. It's 5 watts of energy basically, and so you're talking $1 a month maybe in energy cost in your home, and they're not noisy. So it's the simplest way to do some mining of cryptocurrency and earning this free money basically by just paying a little bit up front. You'll recoup that within, like I said, a few months at most, and then you've got to break even, and everything becomes profit after that.
And you could do this from anywhere. For example, I'm in the Caribbean. What's the feasibility of it?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So right now, the boxes that are being shipped are only for the 915 megahertz, which is the U.S. and Canada. This is Helium, obviously, is worldwide, but iHUB is only shipping right now boxes for the United States. However, you can still join iHUB. So the recommendation is to join iHUB and maybe come up with a way that you could market your affiliate link to the U.S. marketplace. Does that make sense? In other words, yeah. You're like the one I talked to you, where you're not qualified yet. Not that you won't ever be non-qualified to have a hotspot through iHUB Global. Just your country's not being delivered. I don't know what megahertz your country's in and when a box would be available. I could have to do some research on that, but it shouldn't hold up joining iHUB. You would just have a free account, and you're going to get that affiliate link website, and you could start doing either an email campaign or doing something to reach out to people here in the United States, and they could join. And the moment they start deploying the hotspots, you'll be getting a portion of the money off of their hotspot. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, understood. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions before we wrap it up? We're at 7 o'clock right now, 1 hour into it. Okay, thanks everybody for the support. I did this on my own. I'm not as skilled as Bob or Tony, but hopefully the information was valuable to you and help you maybe understand why you should consider all these things, why you should look at the IoT network and what's growing there, Helium, what they're doing, iHUB, and also with our little team within iHUB. And we're here to just help any way we can. So on that note, we will stop the recording.